exactly how the biggest companies on the planet use this software to stop catastrophes before they happen and keep those production lines humming.
I want you to picture this. You're standing in a massive factory. Everything is humming along, it's loud, things are moving, and then suddenly, bam, a loud bang, and your single most critical machine just grinds to a halt. Production stops. Dead. Every single second that ticks by is costing the company thousands and thousands of dollars, and nobody has a clue what's wrong or how long it's going to take to fix it. That exact nightmare scenario, that's precisely why SAP Plant Maintenance, or PM as you'll hear it called, even exists. You got to think of it like the central nervous system for a company's physical stuff. It's constantly monitoring the health of everything, from one tiny pump all the way up to an entire production facility, just to prevent that kind of chaos. So let's see how it actually pulls it off.
To really get our heads around this pretty complex system, we're going to use a super simple analogy that everybody gets: taking care of your car. Because when you get right down to it, managing a factory isn't all that different from managing your own vehicle. It's just on a vastly bigger scale.
And what's really fascinating is just how perfectly this car analogy maps to the industrial world. I mean, look at this. The structure of the car itself, like the engine bay, that's a functional location in SAP. The actual parts, like your alternator or the battery, that's the equipment. That service schedule your mechanic always tells you about, that's a maintenance plan. And that dreaded check engine light, yep, that's a notification, and it kicks off a maintenance order, which is just the repair job itself. Keep this little model in your head, because it's the key to understanding everything else we're about to cover.
Okay, so with that car analogy as our guide, let's lock in the 5 absolute core concepts of SAP PM. Seriously, if you understand these 5 terms, you'll get the logic that drives maintenance on a global scale. First up, we've got functional locations. This is all about structure, the where. Think of it like a set of those Russian nesting dolls. You start with the entire plant, then you drill down to a specific production line, then to a machine group on that line, and then bam, the exact spot where a piece of equipment is sitting. It's the address for any maintenance work.
Next, we have the equipment. This is the actual thing: the pump, the motor, the conveyor belt. So unlike the location, which is just a spot, the equipment is the physical object. And just like your car has a VIN and a whole service history, every single piece of equipment has its own unique record that tracks its entire life of repairs and services. So, what happens when something goes wrong? An operator on the floor creates a notification. This is the official, "Hey, something's broken," alert in the system. It could be for a sudden breakdown, or maybe just a report on some weird noise. It's basically the starting gun for almost all reactive maintenance.
So, a notification tells you there's a problem. The maintenance order tells you exactly how to fix it. This is the action plan. It's got everything: what parts you need from the warehouse, who's going to do the work, how many hours it should take, and crucially, what department is going to pay for it all. It turns a vague problem into a planned, trackable, and costed job.
And finally, we get to the most powerful idea in all of modern maintenance: moving from being reactive to being proactive. This is where maintenance plans come in. Instead of just waiting for something to break, the system automatically schedules the work. Maybe it's based on time, like inspect this every 30 days, or maybe it's based on usage, like after every 10,000 widgets we produce. This is the strategic tool that prevents that nightmare scenario we talked about at the beginning.
Okay, so we've got the 5 key terms down. Now let's put them all together and walk through a real-world story, from the second a machine starts acting up to the moment it's fixed and all the paperwork is done. Okay, let's follow the breadcrumbs. It all starts when an operator on the floor sees that pump P101 is leaking oil. He grabs his tablet and creates a notification. A planner sees that alert, turns it into a detailed maintenance order, assigns a mechanic, and reserves the parts she'll need. The mechanic does the repair, confirms her time and the materials she used right in the system. And finally, the order is closed out and all the costs are automatically settled to the right department. Every single step is documented, creating this perfect auditable trail from problem to solution.
So what's the bottom line here? Why do companies invest millions and millions of dollars in this? Well, the payoff is just staggering. And not just for the business, but for the careers of the people who really master this system.
I mean, the results really speak for themselves. When a company gets this right, they see machine downtime slashed by up to 50%, costs drop by 1/3. And this is a huge one. Because well-maintained equipment is safer equipment, workplace accidents can fall by over 40%. These aren't just little tweaks. This is a total business transformation. Let's put a real number on that transformation. There was one company that shifted their maintenance work from being 60% chaotic emergency repairs down to just 15%. That one move, just from reactive to proactive work, saved them over $2.5 million in a single year, all by just preventing those expensive, unplanned shutdowns.
So, that's the impact on the company's books. But what does all this mean for your career? Well, it's pretty simple. When a skill set is directly tied to saving a company millions of dollars, that skill set becomes incredibly valuable.
Knowing this stuff opens doors to a whole range of high-demand, high-paying roles. Maintenance engineers use it to optimize equipment health, plant managers rely on the data to make huge budget decisions, and expert SAP PM consultants, they're paid handsomely to design and implement these systems for massive corporations.
So let's just do a super quick recap of the whole system. It's all built on a foundation of master data, which is how you organize your physical assets. Then it manages a reactive process to fix things that break. And finally, it enables a proactive strategy to stop them from breaking in the first place. Structure, reaction, and prevention. That's the whole game.
So now that you can see the logic, all the way from a simple car analogy to multi-million-dollar savings, it brings up one last question. I want you to think about your own industry, your own world. How much is that nightmare scenario, that unplanned downtime truly costing it? Because I can promise you, the answer is almost certainly way more than anyone realizes.